Abdul Malik, they call him. A mathematician and an educator who lives in a village surrounded by the Kadalundi River in Malappuram. He chooses to swim across it each morning rather than take a 12-kilometer road journey. It's stunning.
Miss White, have you heard about the story titled The River Between Two Futures? It's about a schoolteacher in Kerala who literally swims through a river every day to reach his students. Stunning and deeply moving. I was reading that his school sits almost encircled by the river. For most, that would be an obstacle. For him, it's a path. With a rubber inner tube around his waist and his school bag held overhead in a plastic sheet, he swims about 1.5 kilometers every day, rain or shine.
He even wears his glasses on his eyes as if saying, "See, I can face this current with nothing to hide." And when he reaches the other bank, he's greeted by the smiles of his pupils. It's as if he's a bridge he built himself, connecting their futures to education.
Exactly. His determination is human excellence incarnate. Think of it. While we fret over small inconveniences, he dives into dangerous waters to fulfill his duty. He's been doing this since 1994, ever since a colleague dared him to try the shortcut. Now, decades later, he still makes that swim every day.
And not just for himself. He carries more than books across that river. He carries hope for every child in his class. One morning, he said he's taught swimming to older students so that they learn to save others or themselves. How poetic. He uses the river not only as his route, but as his classroom.
Abdul Malik's story is a powerful metaphor for dedication and the lengths one would go to for the sake of education. His daily swim is more than a commute, it's a lesson in perseverance and the impact of one's commitment to their duty. Through his actions, Malik teaches us that obstacles can be transformed into opportunities, and that the river between two futures can indeed be crossed.
Absolutely. His journey is a testament to the extraordinary efforts some educators make to ensure that knowledge flows freely, no matter the barriers. Abdul Malik reminds us that true dedication knows no bounds, and that sometimes the most profound lessons come from the most unexpected places.
It reminds me of a line from our conversation. What is a river but a current of time flowing between two shores of existence? By crossing this river, Malik is literally walking, or rather swimming, between the past and the future. On one side, the life of a poor village child with little opportunity. On the other, the life that education promises.
Yes, the title, The River Between Two Futures, feels so apartment. The river is between the future of every child he will teach and the future they would have had without education. He's the living metaphor of that journey. For our students, he's an idol.
In fact, his own students affectionately call him Tube Master, a nod to his inner tube companion on the commute. They see not just a teacher, but someone who literally pulls them through life's currents. It shows how a teacher's commitment transforms a community. When Malik wades through neck-deep water to teach math, he is teaching perseverance and dedication even more.
His story has made people all over India and even abroad stand up and applaud. I read that in 35 years of teaching, he's swum a distance equivalent to the English Channel, nearly 700 kilometers. That stat almost brought tears to my eyes. It's as if he's swum across the span of nations just to reach that one schoolhouse.
What a testament, and yet he never once asked for fame. He just said, "I don't have big dreams, I just want to be a good role model for my students." In a way, that humility is also excellence. The man could boast of his feat, but he just quietly wishes to guide children to do good. It's that moral commitment, not ego, that propels him into the river each dawn.
It reminds me of my own school days. We used to cross a swollen creek on a rickety footbridge to reach our classroom. I would clutch the railing with trembling fingers in monsoon season, terrified of falling. But I never thought of having a teacher swim that creek every day until I read this story. It puts my struggle in perspective.
I hear you. I recall an old teacher of mine, Mr. Srinivasan. He commuted 2 hours on a train to get to our village each day. One monsoon, the railway was washed out and he walked miles through ankle-deep water just so we wouldn't miss class. When he arrived late, but smiling in the afternoon soaked through, it felt like a miracle. He once quietly said to the class, A teacher who can't bear hardship is not worthy of guiding minds.
There is a kind of poetry in that. Teacher after teacher demonstrating that the work is bigger than the individual. Malik's story sings the same melody at a different pitch, one that involves swirling waters, and with every splash, he's imprinting values onto his students: resilience, love of learning, and service.
I hear you. I recall an old teacher of mine, Mr. Srinivasan. He commuted 2 hours on a train to get to our village each day. One monsoon, the railway was washed out and he walked miles through ankle-deep water just so we wouldn't miss class. When he arrived late but smiling in the afternoon soaked through, it felt like a miracle. He once quietly said to the class, "A teacher who can't bear hardship is not worthy of guiding minds."
There is a kind of poetry in that. Teacher after teacher demonstrating that the work is bigger than the individual. Malik's story sings the same melody at a different pitch, one that involves swirling waters, and with every splash, he's imprinting values onto his students: resilience, love of learning, and service.
Indeed, what struck me too is his environmental sense. He isn't just swimming, he's cleaning. I learned he often takes his students on river cleaning drives, picking garbage and plastic out of the water. He literally cleans the stream they rely on. It's as if by touching the river every day, he ensures it remains pure. His teaching becomes holistic math, life skills, and care for Mother Earth.
That layer adds depth. Education here isn't confined to textbooks. It flows through values and responsibility. If he can turn the river itself into a classroom about life, how much more does he teach his students through example?
There's a philosophical lesson there. Education is not just knowledge transfer, it's transformative. And Malik transforms his students and indirectly their society by his actions. Each way to cross the river says, no hurdle is too great when the cause is noble. In human terms, it's like saying the meaning of education is worth every sacrifice. He lives that truth.
It makes me wonder, what is the purpose of education? If it's merely to get jobs or be learned, many would be satisfied. But Malik shows something deeper. He's teaching the children to value commitment itself. He's showing them that learning and caring for each other is worth braving life's currents.
Humility and commitment are two virtues that Abdul Malik embodies in his daily life. His dedication to his students goes beyond the classroom, showing a level of care and humility that is rare in today's world. Malik's story is not just about education, it's about the profound impact one individual can have on their community through unwavering commitment and genuine humility. And perhaps that is why his story resonated worldwide. People saw in him a reflection of the best of humanity, someone dedicated to a cause far greater than personal comfort. In fact, when a well-wisher in London heard about him and donated a fiberglass boat for his commute, Malik politely found it impractical, it had no oars, and gave it away to a friend. He chose humility over convenience.
I love that detail. Even given a boat, he smiled and said, "No thanks, I'd rather swim." It speaks volumes. He's not doing this for gadgets or accolades. His goal is the children. One story said on Teachers' Day a dignitary even recognized him, but he remained as grounded as ever. When the boat's rope broke one day, he just improvised and kept going. There's no complaining on his lips.
And that steadfastness, that unwavering moral commitment, is the truest lesson. I think back to Nietzsche's idea of human excellence being the will to power over oneself, not others. Malik wields power over the river's temptations. He could have taken an easier path, accepted a ride, chosen a safer career, but he won't betray his commitment. He holds the line to his duty with every stroke.
It's inspiring. It makes me examine my own sense of commitment. There's a proverb, a river cuts through rock, not because of its power, but its persistence. Malik is that river now, not only crossing one but reshaping it with every passage. And in doing so, he offers a new path for the children.
Beautifully said. And indeed, many young ones, maybe in years, maybe in other schools, now dream differently seeing him. They know that being a teacher is not a job but a vocation, that education is not just a curriculum but a covenant. It's a moral and human calling.
We spoke of earlier times. I remember when I was a teacher, once in a drought-hit year, we had no buses for weeks. I walked 10 kilometers to school with my satchel, arriving grimy and sweaty. One student asked why I didn't just turn back. I said, I promised to be here. Now I see Malik says the same with water. He promised to be there on time, and the river is not a reason to break that promise.
How many of us can claim that purity of purpose? It brings me to reflect, every teacher has the power to shape not just minds but whole lives. Malik's daily journey might teach math problems, but the meta lesson is about courage and service. In Hindu thought, the river is often a goddess, a giver of life. And here, Malik literally bathes in that mother river to give life back through education.
That's a profound metaphor. In crossing her waters, he cleanses away apathy, and on reaching the other bank, he brings knowledge, sustenance of soul, and perhaps a bit of that river's tranquility to young hearts. In times of doubt, I think of him and remember why we chose this path.
How many of us can claim that purity of purpose? It brings me to reflect, every teacher has the power to shape not just minds but whole lives. Malik's daily journey might teach math problems, but the meta lesson is about courage and service. In Hindu thought, the river is often a goddess, a giver of life. And here, Malik literally bathes in that mother river to give life back through education.
That's a profound metaphor. In crossing her waters, he cleanses away apathy, and on reaching the other bank, he brings knowledge, sustenance of soul, and perhaps a bit of that river's tranquility to young hearts. In times of doubt, I think of him and remember why we chose this path.
In that sense, what Abdul Malik has achieved is greater than his swimming itself. He has ignited a spark, showing that one person's devotion can light 1,000 lamps in others. If education is the journey of mind and spirit, he shows it is a journey of the whole being. Maybe that's the final lesson. Education's meaning in human life is nothing without sacrifice and love. He lives that truth each day.
And perhaps in telling this story to our colleagues and students, we become carriers of that current too. Our conversation just now is like tossing a pebble into the river, ripples of inspiration. Malik would like that.
Yes, as he himself said, with determination and perseverance we can overcome any challenge. His life is a proof of that principle. We should hold that in our hearts, always. Even if we never swim with a tube around our waist, we can find ways to swim through obstacles in our work and teaching.
In the end, education in human life, as Malik's story teaches, is transformative not just for the student, but for the teacher as well. Abdul Malik dived into cold water, but what came out was warmth in countless lives. That is the grace of true education.
Precisely. Today the river carried him. Tomorrow those he taught will carry something of him into the future.
And that future, no matter how distant, will always have one thing in common: gratitude to a teacher who never let the current keep him from his calling.